Let's start with this presentation. Person account. So I got this image of a sitting duck. So I think that it's a feature of Salesforce which is not necessarily getting much love. And the idea of this presentation is to go back to the state of the art in terms of B2C implementation. What can we do today with a person account? And state the fact rather than look at the various rumors. Okay, thank you. Right, so that would be me. We're doing something about Voltforce with my friend Phil. So you can look up for us on Twitter with Voltforce. Okay, so I've explained the reason why I wanted to talk about this person account. When I prepared for this session, the original plan was to go through every single complaint I could find on the web and try to propose a workaround for each of this point. And the thing is that I realized that quite a lot of the rumors and bad word about person account are related to past release and are not applying today anymore. So which means that if you get a view from the web after Googling person account, you may have quite a lot of content, negative content, but my observation from the research I made for this session is to say, be very careful. Things have changed quite a lot, and take a look for yourself. So do some research. You run a test for yourself. Yeah, quite a lot of problems from the past are not there anymore. Okay. Quickly, the structure of the talk. So first of all, we're going to describe person account as a reminder for some of you, or a discovery for some other of you. Review the alternative and design option. So if you got to implement Salesforce in a B2C world, how would you go with the various options on the table? And hopefully, if you stick to a person account, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks. And yeah, so as for all the presentations, so you can download them after the session from our website. So you're going to see quite a lot of URL. Short URL. Don't bother to take a picture or anything. You can get them from the website afterward. Okay. The reason for is that there's a lot to say about person account, and you'll see that I'm skipping some topic and just reference to additional material you can reach on the web. Okay. And then we've got a series of question and answer if I make it in time. If not, we can take the conversation outside of the room if you're interested to go further with a person account. Okay, so let's see how does it work. And first of all, the history of a person account. So Salesforce is a B2B platform by design, and so there was this will to move into open up the door to B2C business. And the thing is that because it was designed to fit B2B business model, typically that was requiring a new design for Salesforce of the core component of a CRM, which is the customer data model. Okay. So I'm using a fake company here to describe a bit of the challenge. So that's the company who's selling diggers to diggers and tractors. So they're selling fleet of diggers to building company, and they would also sell individual tractor to farmers. Okay, so I got a mixed business model, which is both B2B and B2C. So by using this sort of example, we can see how does it all fit together. So for their B2B customers, so you would expect, so back to the basic, they store their building company information in the account object, of course, and all the employees that they engage with in the contact record. What you could guess is that for the farmers, they're going to just store them as a contact and forget about the company. They're just interested in engaging with this contact. The problem and the challenge for Salesforce when redesigning this part of the solution is that so the customer data model is one thing, and again you can find that we've addressed the issue here. The problem is that there's all a complete ecosystem of objects, so standard objects like the campaign, which can target contact, for instance, the opportunity which are related to account. So the case can be either or. You've got quite a lot of bespoke code, sorry, but maybe working already with the assumption of a specific data model. All the ISV application you find on the App Exchange. So transforming this data model to onboard B2C businesses was quite challenging. Okay, they needed to keep backward compatibility. And the way they did it is by bringing this, what I think is a clever idea, is to continue to use the standard component, so an account and a contact, which still relate to the whichever relationship was in place, even the standard one or bespoke one. But what they do is that they enforce a one-to-one relationship on what used to be a one-to-many relationship. And doing so, you can consider this pair account and contact as a single logical entity that you're going to be dealing with. So, one word of advice is that when you talk about PA, person account, you need to see it as an account more than the contact. The fact that the contact is behind the is there still behind the scene is the nature of the implementation. But you shouldn't focus on this contact. Consider PA as an account. Okay. And you see that so what we're doing here to store farmer data on this pair of record still work with the traditional model where you would have so the building company and employee in the contact. How does it look? So I mentioned the one-to-one relationship enforced. On the account object, when you activate person account, you end up with a pile of fields which are coming from various places. So you find the original business, so what we call business account, which is the standard account. But that's the way to differentiate between a business account and a person account when you got both active in an org. So they're pulling all of the, or keeping, should I say, all the business account standard field and custom field in this new person account. But then they're pulling up as well contact standard field and contact custom field, a bit as you would do with the formula. Except that it's not formula. There's some business logic there to behind the scene to populate this thing, and they are adding so three custom field. Sorry, 3 new field that we're going to describe in a minute. Okay. How are we doing? So can you hear me? Can you understand my accent? Yeah. Okay. Before activating it, you need to prepare the org. Okay, so quickly, you need to build for yourself a new record type on the account object. If you didn't have any, you need to create one. If you had a couple, it's fine. You can leave it as it is. Okay. You need to set the contact sharing setting to control by parents because you're gonna have this. Enforce one-to-one relationship, and you can have separate behavior on the contact and the parent account. And then, so there's a bit of complicated statement, which is the actual way to phrase it, and which is different to what tech support would ask you. Tech support would ask you to give a read permission to all profile. In fact, it's just the profile where you've got at least read permission on the account. So that's the little tweak. Yeah, and then you just raise the case with the tech support to get it activated. One word about this. This is today it's a setting in stone. So when you switch to activating a person account, the org is completely transformed. So the backend is transformed. And today you cannot go back to the standard data model. Okay. So clearly to hurry up. So that's the way it's going to look. So the business account record type, you've created it. Person account record type is created by tech support, so you don't even have choice in the name of the record type. And you got this new section at the bottom of the account section in the setup menu, which is here to manage the page layout. So that's something we discuss in a minute. Yeah, and record types. If you want to add more, because you can add more record types, more person record types if you need. Okay, let's go in detail into the fields. So, okay, all of the, so as I said, so all of the account fields are still available on the person account record. Sorry, the new person account object. Having said that, parent ID is not available on the record, so you can see it as a field because you still have B2B available. So if you want to create a business account, you can use the relationship, but in personal account, there's no notion of relationship whatsoever, hierarchy. Yeah, so this you wouldn't find this field on a personal account page layout. Okay, and then these three new fields. So record type. So that's the switch. That's the way you control when you create an account. Is it a personal account? Is it a business account? This is a flag which is interesting for you to filter a record without having to pull the record type name, and which comes with an added bonus. We'll see at the end of the presentation. And this is the lookup back to this individual contact record. So you can navigate this way. It has not always been the same. So that's one of the critiques from the past, but today you can go down from the account down to the unique contact. Okay, and of course you got all the custom field available. Okay, so that's the account object. Still on the account object, so they're bringing most of the contact field except this few. So report to, again, there's no hierarchy in a person account, and these few fields are not pull up. They are bringing on the account object still the contact custom field, but they suffix them with a PC, just because when they switch the activate person account, there may be case where you've got field with similar name both on the account and on the contact. So there will be no conflict. They can automate this, and you know that if you got say phone underscore C on the account and phone underscore C in the contact, when they pull the contact up at the account level, it's going to be phone underscore C for the account one, and underscore PC for the contact one. Okay. On the contact, so basically the contacts are unchanged, except that you find this field, this flag as well. Again, so that's a convenient way to test the context. What sort of contact am I dealing with? Is it a contact which is paired to a parent person account? Or is it a standard account related to existing business account? Sure. It's correct, yeah. So it's for the convenience of it. So today you could pull them by yourself, but when they release a person account, you couldn't. So that was the only way to access the data from the contact. So when it's activated, so the way you authorize or not the use of person account is to go on the account part of the profile. So you need to activate profile by profile, and then identify for each profile what's the expected behavior. So even you open to both business account or person account, which means that when you create when this user will create an account, he will be asked, would you want to create a person account or do you want to create a business account? Or you can limit it to a single record type. So, for instance, a business account, in which case, even if you've got a business account and a personal account living side by side in the same organization, you can have a part of your business focused on B2B and another part who's engaging with consumer, who's going to have a different set of profile. Okay? So that's the selection box I was talking about. Okay, I've got an example on the behavior, and as I say, so I've got a link here for you if you're interested to drill down. So an example of this statement that personal account has to be considered as an account still sometime behave like a contact. Okay, so the record appear both in account and contact list view. So if you go on the contact tab, for instance, and you run a search on farmer name, you would see the record type. Okay, so that's thanks to the fact that you've got this pair record. Having said that, this farmer, even if you click on this farmer that you just found in list view, it wouldn't show in the contact recently view list. Okay, thing is that when you click, you open up an account. So remember that personal account is an account, and as a result, so it doesn't show on the contact recently view list. So there's a couple of gotchas here, and as I say, so there's additional example here. Okay. Yeah, just for information, if you're worried about how do you deal with a lead, by just leaving the company name empty, a lead would convert it to a personal account. Okay?
Would you say that a good way to avoid that misnomer around the contacts tab is just to remove the tab with renamed accounts customers so you don't get that confusion with users?
Yeah, effectively. Yeah. If the person who lose the contact tab just deal with a consumer, effectively you can remove it as a simplification. Okay. Sorry? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so alternative. I'm going to go quick. I'm a bit late, to be honest. Let's have a chat outside of the room. Okay. No way. Oh, okay. Sorry, we got a queue, a bit of pressure. So yeah, we can have a chat outside of the room if you want. Private account, forget about it. Okay. If you want to know why, let's discuss later on. That's the model I was talking about earlier. Is to say, okay, I've got some farmer. I'm gonna store the farmer information on the contact, and I don't worry about the account. Okay. Unfortunately, you can do this. There's too much drawback, I would say. So I would step out of this. One way to deal with, first alternative, I would say, to take into consideration is what we call the bucket model. So where you would have all your farmers here, and here you would have a fake account, which would act as a wrapper, but not used for much purpose. Oh, really? Is it? Okay, so I'm done. I'm gonna. This is embarrassing. Up. Say again? Okay. Well, I'm sorry, so I haven't managed to go through all the slides. Late start, and yeah, if you're interested, don't hesitate to catch up with me, and I will make sure that I've got my laptop with me as well. Really embarrassed, apology for this. We're heading upstairs where we're supposed to have the series of demos. Okay? Okay. Okay, thank you.